Pickups seem to be the theme of the month. We just got the new D-Max, we're about to get the new Navara, and Ford just released their newest variant of the Ranger. This is called the Ford Ranger FX4 Max. Now, if you're thinking that this is a regular Ford Ranger with a few cosmetic upgrades, it's more than just that. Think of it as a baby Ford Ranger Raptor, and I'll show you later why. So is it worth your money? Let's find out.
One thing that Ford is good at is targeting a specific demographic and making sure that the features of a truck are tailor-made for that demographic. They don't just throw in a body kit and new decals and call it a new variant. They make sure that each variant is the best at what it's designed to do. For example, the Wildtrak is the most feature-packed lifestyle pickup until the D-Max LEC came out this month. And the Ranger Raptor is still the undisputed king of off-road pickups. The Ranger Raptor doesn't have some of the Wildtrak's high-tech features, but the Wildtrak doesn't have some of the Raptor's off-road specific upgrades. So they have two high-end pickups, but they're designed for different purposes. Like the Ranger Raptor and the Wildtrak, the FX4 is also built around a specific purpose, and that is off-roading. The FX4 is still based on the T6 platform, with the same body panels, but it might as well be called a facelift because Ford made a lot of changes to the FX4. So the Ranger is a pretty handsome pickup to begin with, but Ford added a lot of cosmetic as well as functional upgrades that make it look a lot more macho. First off, it comes with a Ford grille. It's the only other Ford aside from the Raptor that comes with a Ford grille out of the factory. It has fender moldings, not as wide as the ones that you find on the Ranger Raptor, but they're substantial enough, and they give the FX4 a wider look. Most of the accents of the FX4 Max are painted in gloss gunmetal. The grille, the fender moldings, the door handles, the side mirrors. The FX4 gets a sports bar. Ford calls it a sports bar and not a roll bar, so I'm not sure if it offers rollover protection. But it's made of steel. It's not made of plastic like on some of its competitors. So it's not purely cosmetic. You can mount lights on this and you can use it to secure your cargo. The FX4 gets bigger tires. It comes with 32-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain tires. They're about an inch bigger than the ones that you find on the regular FX4 4x2. And that's a pretty noticeable difference. Aside from the bigger size, they also have a 42mm offset. The track of the FX4 Max is 26mm wider than the regular Rangers. It's also been given a pretty generous lift. The ground clearance of the FX4 Max is 250mm. For comparison, the Wildtrak's ground clearance is 232mm, and the Ranger Raptor's ground clearance is 283mm. So it's right in between the Wildtrak and the Ranger Raptor. Like the Ranger Raptor, it also comes with Fox shocks. The shocks of the FX4 though are slightly smaller. They're 2 inches in diameter, while the Raptor's shocks are 2.5 inches. Unlike the Ranger Raptor, the FX4 comes with leaf springs at the back. The headlamps are halogens, but they're also projectors so they don't look like base model headlamps. And since they're projectors, they're also easier to upgrade to LEDs. So at the back you have halogen tail lamps. You also have rear parking sensors. A bed liner comes in as standard. If you do bicep curls with the tailgate every day, you'll probably see some gains within a month. It doesn't have liftgate assist, so closing the liftgate requires a bit of effort. The rear suspension of the FX4 Max is slightly softer than the Ranger Wildtrak, So the cargo capacity is slightly lower. The cargo capacity of the FX4 Max is 982 kilograms, which is less than the Ranger Wildtrak, but more than the Ranger Raptor. Of course, you can't really call it an off-road pickup if it's not a 4x4. The FX4 Max will come exclusively as a 4x4 model, and only as an automatic. Like the Ranger Raptor, the FX4 Max will also get the same 2-liter bi-turbo engine. It produces a class-leading 213 horsepower and 500 Nm of torque. The engine is coupled to a 10-speed automatic. The FX4 Max gets a pretty significant upgrade in the engine bay. It gets a more powerful 250 amp alternator, and that's for powering devices like floodlights and winches, which are very important if you're off-roading. Also, the intake has been raised. It's now near the top of the hood, so it's less likely for water to be sucked in the engine.
So the interior of the FX4 looks pretty similar to other Rangers in the lineup. You get a couple of specific touches here, like the FX4 badging on the seats. By the way, the seats are leather with velour inserts. So both front seats are manually adjustable. You get the same 8-inch screen. It has Apple CarPlay, it has Android Auto. It doesn't have a reverse camera though. And you get the same leather-wrapped steering wheel that you get on other middle-range to high-end Ranger variants. I've always loved these steering wheels. They're just the right size, they're very nicely padded, and the leather feels high quality. The Ranger FX4 also has electronically assisted steering, so it is pretty light. You get this matte black accent here. It's not gloss black like on some other Ranger variants, and you get these chrome accents around the air vents. So like I said, the FX4 Max is designed for off-road use, and most of the upgrades here are specifically designed to improve off-road performance. So you get a rear differential lock, and like I said before, the FX4 Max gets a more powerful 250 amp alternator, and that's for powering devices like winches, floodlights. So one unique feature of the FX4 Max are these switches right here. So these are for turning the accessories on and off. Like if you have floodlights, you can turn them on or off using these switches. And I like how they feel. They have a pretty analog feel to them. You have dual zone climate control. Over here you have one USB port, another one down there, and one 12-volt outlet. The FX4 Max has a differential lock, and this is the button for engaging the rear differential lock. This is for turning off traction control, and this is for hill descent control. Like I said, the FX4 Max is a 4x4, so you have this knob over here for selecting 2 high, 4 high, or 4 low. You have a regular manual parking brake, which I think is actually ideal for a pickup like this. You get the same 10-speed transmission that you get on the Ranger Raptor. You don't get paddle shifters on the FX4 Max though. To shift gears, you can use these buttons over here. So here at the second row, it's the same as most other Rangers. Legroom is pretty good. Headroom is also pretty good. You don't get air vents, but you get one 12-volt outlet over here. By the way, I forgot to mention that the driver's seat has adjustable lumbar support. Okay, so like I said before, the FX4 Max is like a baby Ford Ranger Raptor. So if you want the Ranger Raptor's off-road capability in Parma, but you can't afford it, then this is the next logical step. It is just slightly less expensive than the Wildtrak, but they're aimed at different demographics. The Wildtrak is more of a city pickup. It has more tech. It has lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control. It's more of a luxury / lifestyle pickup. The FX4 Max is a dedicated off-road pickup.
So I haven't driven the FX4 Max yet. I'll do a part 2 when I get to drive it. But based on the spec sheet, it looks like a very capable off-road vehicle. One minor gripe though is that I wish it had a backup camera. At this price, I would expect to get that. but it should also be easy to have one installed. So is it worth your money? If you're into off-roading, the FX4 Max is definitely worth a serious look.